There's two slots open here. I'm going to use this for installation of a 100 amp breaker. The panel installed, I'm going to use a piece of OSB similar to the way they did the plywood here. It's going to get fastened to this drywall. So I'll make sure I tap into those fairing strips just like they did here. I won't use nails, I'll use screws. Just long enough to penetrate the wood, but not long enough to go through and connect with the concrete. I know my measurement for this from the edge of the blade to this. That line. I'm going to set up a fence. That's what I have this piece of angle iron for. I'm going to offset that. The blade of the circular saw is 1 1/8 from the edge of the guard, and that's what I'm going to offset that angle iron. I'm going to clamp it on both sides, and it'll be a quick cut with the circular saw. I'm going to attach the OSB to the fairing strips behind the drywall with some screws. I'm going to use my ram set. So again, loading the ram set, I'm using the yellow shot. So this is a single shot. I have the nails. You put the nail in the end here. Install one in this area. So that's the shot that I'm using. The next step up is red. This is the Siemens load center I'm going to install. It's a 100 amp. So 100 amp with the main breaker, and it has 20 spaces. So this is the panel cover. I like Siemens products a lot. I used to work there. These are the neutrals, and these are the grounds. So I figure installation of the panel would be good around this spot. On a sub panel, you want the neutrals to be floating from the grounds. So this bonding screw is what connects the neutral to the panel. I have to remove this bonding screw. Alright, here's the Romex connectors. This is for 2-aught wire. We're going to have one coming in the top, and then the other one will go on the side over here. So it gets installed this way here, and we will connect this retaining nut from the bottom. You can see that this is the hole big enough to receive this Romex connector. It will be installed in this fashion so that you can get access to the screws to tighten down this retaining ring. I'll loosen these screws up some. That way there's plenty of room to install the wire. Then then this breaker will get installed on that side. This is the breaker that's going to get installed on the other panel that will feed. You can see they got the big lugs there that will feed this panel here. So I'm removing the insulation. Alright, this is aluminum wiring, so aluminum wiring is going to require to use anti-oxidation. Okay, in case if there were ever a question about color coding, protective oat ground or protective ground is bare, which is what this wire is. That's the ground. Then we have neutral, which will be the white. So we have a white stripe wire here. That is neutral. And then black or red. So that'll be L1 and L2. So neutral is going to connect to this bar here. So I will move him over in this area. Okay. Hot. This is the other hot. We'll get connected to here. And then this is ground. Ground will get connected over to here. So we need to use anti-oxidation compound. So our neutral is going to get connected here. Yeah, you got a 4.5 millimeter Allen key. Oh, I think that's cut it right here. Holy crap. I'll apply the anti-oxidation compound. Yeah, I don't have to do this. I'm removing the set screw all the way just so I can see the wire go in. I have to apply the anti-oxidation compound. Okay, so that screw's installed. I'll have to torque that down. Again, we're using a 100 amp breaker. So these are the connections where the two hots will go into for the two phases. Then we'll leave that in the off position. Holy crap, that was tight. This is the cover for the load center that I just installed. So in here you're going to have the screws. I want to put the cover on this so that when I land the wires for the supply for this, alright, so the panel is installed. It is not tied in yet. This line needs to be installed into this breaker here, but I got a lot going on here. So I'm going to start to shorten these lines. Tracing everything back. So I'm going to work on one wire at a time. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is move up. I need to move things out of the way here because this is where this wiring is going to attach to ground and neutral. So all of the work that I'm doing here is to free up these bottom spaces. Strip this end off a little bit more. to tie this to that neutral wire that's tied to the bus bar. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start turning on the electric. This guy's tough. Okay. Don't need him on. Let's test him. Okay. There we go. Much better looking. So this ground wire has to go up into here. So if you look at the gauge wire here, you can see that the earth ground wire a little bit smaller than the 2 gauge 2-aught wire here. Okay, I turned off all the breakers. Now I'm going to start running the wiring. Okay, this here is the set screw I'm taking out. I'm taking this one out all the way so that I can see the wire go in. Okay, there's the set screw. Let's put it right in there so I don't lose it. And I have to apply anti-ox compound. Okay, what I'm trying to do is push these wires out of the way as much as possible. If this fits, it'll be wonderful. If it doesn't, then I have to work a little bit harder. Ooh, and it fit. That is really good. I did not expect that. So I'm going to tape the set screw to the screwdriver. Tough to bend. So next we have to connect the ground wire. And we'll Also removing the set screw from this one so I can watch it go in. This one here, I'm going to leave excess here. I'm going to pull this through. And I'll connect the bottom one first. L. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I really torque this down well. I'll do the same thing for this line. Screw, get that installed. Same thing, tightening down this set screw. Now I'm testing the continuity between neutral. We see we're good there. Testing over here also. Okay.